Hi everyone, I'm Kay of Kay's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking this canvas and these ribbons I have from Sam's Club, and I got some mesh here I thought I would be working with, but didn't turn out like I wanted it, so no, won't be working with those. And we're going to make what I call a little small rail wreath, and it's for my garden outside. So I'm going to start by cutting a piece of canvas about the size of my sign, and that ended up being 4 inches wide. There's where I'm cutting it, and I'm just following the line that's on the canvas. And then the width of it is about 10 and a half, which is the width. I think my sign is 11 inches wide. Canvas comes from Hobby Lobby. Here's my sign I'll be using, and that's from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start by cutting some tails, and I'm still going to be using 12 inches. I ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, only about 6 tails. When I started this wreath, I had one design in mind, and it just did not come out right. So I'm going to cut, I think I cut off 7 of each color, but I'm only going to use about 12, sorry, 6 of 2. So yeah, 12 tails for this design. But again, cutting them at 12 inches. I have the 3 colors there, or the 3 ribbons there I'm going to be using. One has just a solid purple. The other has butterflies, and the other has, I think that's lavender that's on that print. So I really like these ribbons, Sam's Club, and this butterfly one has a lot of other colors mixed in, which makes it so pretty. The rolls you see in front of you from the mesh, again, I had planned to use this on my wreath, but I actually later just pushed them to the side. They just did not, I just wanted that purple lavender effect, and it just wasn't going the direction I wanted it to go. So I thought it would be really colorful and pretty, and kind of didn't work, didn't play well together. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to cut off some more tails of this flower. Again, to me it looks like a lavender flower. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to get these cut, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So while I'm dovetailing my tails there, let me just say again, I appreciate all of you all who have joined the family. I thank you all for all the views you've been giving me, and I really just appreciate the time you spend with me. And if ever you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. If you're not a family member, all you have to do is click the button and ring the bell, and you'll be notified whenever I have a video release. Okay, I'm going to, like I said, dovetail these ribbons and get ready to make my bow. So again, if you enjoyed the video, also please share it with others, and that'll help me with growing my channel. I'd appreciate that. So the next thing I want to do, I dovetail all of my ribbon, and I want to make a bow. I'm going to give it a 6-inch tail to start with. You put your ribbon in there, you know, when you get to that center you twist it, and then I'm going to make my loops go out to the 5-inch mark, because this sign is not very wide. So right there at about 5-inch, I'm trying to decide, but I'm going to twist again, and then I'm going to flip it over. That's where I was holding the sign up to see just how wide it was. Didn't want the bow to overtake it. So I'm going to do 4 loops with this purple ribbon, and then go on to the next one, and I'm going to be doing 4 loops with each color. If you would like to see an in-depth video of how I make my bows, that is there's a link in the description box that you can click, and it takes you to a whole playlist of different bows that I've made, where I give like that step-by-step up-close tutorials on how to make different types of bows. And for some reason I didn't want to put that ribbon on right today. I try to put it on so that the ribbon loops behind the roll and it's not in front of the camera blocking your view. So again, I'm doing 4 loops. My first loops with the purple were 5 inches, and now the loops are down to 4.5 inches. So I'm going to do those so they'll be a little bit shorter than the others, and the purple won't have any problem being seen in the background. While I'm making the bow, you'll see me every now and then kind of take the loops and the tails and just smooth them out so that, you know, the bow will be kind of spread out and looking nice, so that when I use my tinsel tie or pipe cleaner to take it off, it won't all be gobbled together. It'll already kind of be shaped and fluffed. So here's the last ribbon. Again, I'm doing 4 loops, but now I'm at about 4 inch for each loop. And this butterfly ribbon, as you can see, just got all these beautiful colors in here. The blues, purples, pinks, gets into different shades of those colors. I just think it's so pretty. I'm not sure if Sam's Club is still carrying the spring ribbon. I haven't been there in a while, but because I haven't been there in a while, it's time for me to go back and see, because they might be on sale. Alright, let me get this bow made. The next step is to, excuse me, I had to take a swig of water there. The next step is to get my pipe cleaner. I kind of lift the ribbon. Some people start with the pipe cleaner already laying on their bow maker. I will kind of lift the ribbon and slide the pipe cleaner up under there. And doesn't matter which way you do it. I always do it this way because I forget. I forget to put that pipe cleaner down first. Don't know why, I just do. So it's no problem to come in and just put it up underneath everything afterwards. So now that I've got that on here, I'm going to wrap it around, hold it onto the center of my bow, and bringing that tinsel tie to the back and just giving as tight a twist as I possibly can. And I'm doing it super tight because, as I've already said, I've pretty much shaped my bow already. And I just have to do kind of minor adjustments. If you had to do major adjustments, you wouldn't want to do that tie too tight at first. You need some, you know, looseness so that you can move things around. So for me, shaping a bow is just spreading things out so that everything can be seen from the front. And you can already see that one side I've done, how it's kind of, I call it fluffed out. You can see the purples, you can see the lavenders, you can see the butterflies. Looking from the front, you can just see all of them, even from the side, how they're all fluffed out, and you can see each ribbon individually, or each loop of the bow. And that way, once the bow is placed on your wreath, you'll be able to see it. It'll be really cute. So my next step here is to add this canvas to the bottom of my sign. So what I did was take 3 of the rows of the canvas and laid it on top of the sign. And that's how I'm going to add it there and keep it all straight and level. I have a staple gun, could not find it, because I think I would have tried just stapling it on to make it more secure. I'm going to have to find it and make sure you're going to make sure you have staples that probably about, I think, 1/4 of an inch is small if they come. If they come smaller than that, you may want to get them for your sign so that the staples don't puncture through to the front. So I put down that row of glue, laid the canvas on top, used that little spatula I had to kind of press it down so I wouldn't burn my hands. And then I put another layer of glue on top and let that dry. So my next step, now I don't have any mesh on here, so I've got to make sure I cover all this canvas. I'm going to start by putting my bow right in the center. That's going to be the main thing I use to cover the canvas. So I'm finding the center mark. And the bow is going to go right near the bottom, about a 1/2 inch really up from the bottom. And mainly because, remember, those loops are 5 inches. My canvas is only 4. So it's going to already come up into the sign, and you don't want to end up covering the words of your sign. So I'm going to put the bow, attach the bow right near the bottom, and I'm just double checking my measurements right here. They say measure twice, cut once. So don't have to cut, but still want to get it on right. Don't want to have the sign looking a little lopsided. So I mark where I want to insert the pipe cleaners for my bow right through those little holes on the canvas. And I'm just going to pull them through and give it a twist on the back. And then I'm going to cut the ends of the pipe cleaners and tuck them back into the canvas. And then I still go on the right side of the canvas and kind of press them down, because I still don't want those wires sticking straight up. They could, if I go to move the bow or something, they could end up snagging it. So the next thing I want to do is add some tails, and I'm going to do each side. At first I was going to just do 2 on each side, but then I decided just take all 3 ribbons and put them together and do 2 tails on 1 tail on each side. So I went back and got that 3rd ribbon and found the center point and gathered it, and now I'm putting my pipe cleaner around that center, and then I'm going to really pull these tails together. You'll see in a minute how I pull them together so that both ends of the tails are pointing off toward the side of the sign. So let me get this second one gathered, and we will show you in a minute how I pull them down. See how I pull them down so it's almost like a V shape? And I'm taking my pipe cleaners, trying to decide about how far in I need to be, how far I wanted the tails to stick out. And I found myself right at about the 2-inch point, about 2 inches from the side, and about, I think it was almost 1.5 inches maybe up toward to get to like the center of the sign, maybe 2 inches. But you'll kind of play around with it if you decide to make this wreath and see where you need that one to go. You want it to be kind of centered so that when you pull it together toward the side, you will end up covering all of the white canvas that's peeking out from underneath. I was kind of rushing to do the sign. I think if I had more time, I would go back and maybe paint it purple, or around some of the edges, even take maybe a color marker or something. I don't know if that would work, as long as it's a waterproof marker. If you could do something in purple to kind of make the canvas disappear. So I have twisted it on tightly, and now I am tucking that raw edge of the wire back into the canvas. It takes a minute because these holes are not super big. And once I got it tucked back through, I pressed it down flat even on the other side. Still don't want it sticking out in a way that you could get poked as I'm working with the wreath. Alright, I'm going to get these other sides tucked in, and then we'll be ready to move in to the next step. So with all of those pipe cleaners tucked back in, even the one that's holding the bow, I'm now kind of fluffing everything and trying to fill in so that white canvas isn't showing. It ended up working pretty good. Yeah, I still had some peeking out, so I'm going to shape my tails, shape that bow up, and trying to decide then what I would do to fill in still some of the white areas. If you have greenery, that would work probably perfectly. I have some, couldn't find it. I really need to get organized, because I said before I start my fall wreaths, I really want to make sure everything is organized so I can find things. Oh, it's a nuisance. So at any rate, it's somewhere in a bag. I keep my things either in bags or in totes, clear totes, so I can see what's inside. And I just put a clear tote of greenery somewhere in the back, and I think that's where it is. Didn't feel like digging that out. But at any rate, I am clipping the tails to my bow. It was nice to clip them once it was on here so I could really make sure that the ones at the top were not running into the words of the sign. You can see that purple one is just touching the letters, but when I shape that tail a little better, it won't even be touching that. So I decided to use my flowers here. The sign is from Dollar Tree. The flowers are from Dollar Tree. The canvas, Hobby Lobby, and the ribbon is from Sam's Club. So that's where everything came from. So I'm going to take my flowers, put it kind of in the center on the sides, and I cut the wire of the flower about maybe 1.5 inches long. You can see there I'm bending it so that once it goes through the canvas, it'll be laying flat against the back of the canvas, and then I can just glue it down so that it stays put. It's not sticking out and poking anybody. So I put one on each side, and then I'm going to go back and put 2 toward the top, and it's going to make a nice little semi-arch effect with just the flowers. You know, it adds another shape and dimension to your little wreath here. This is made like a rail wreath, but again, I'm using the canvas, and that's something you can do with any sign. Just attach that canvas and add something beautiful beneath the sign to give it the effects of a wreath. So here I'm adding the 2 flowers at the top, one to kind of each side of the bow, like I guess you would say that 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and 1 o'clock if you were looking at a clock. So you can see those flower stems sticking off the back until I get them glued down. So voice is getting a little dry here. While I finish adding these flowers, I'm going to grab a quick drink, and after we get the flowers on, we can move on to the next thing. So after adding my flowers, I still had a little bareness showing at the top of the wreath. So I decided to take one set of tails, the purple and the butterfly and ribbon, and cut it in half and dovetail it again on that end that I just cut. So I'm going to have these 2 little mini tails. They're going to be approximately, what do I have there? 1, 2, I'm just about 5 inches, and all I'm doing is counting those squares where I have it laid out on the mat. And what I'm going to do is put a purple and a butterfly together and make a little tiny tail coming up out of the top, and that is for effect, and it's for covering that white canvas. So I've got to grab another pipe cleaner there. I won't need anything really long, so I'm going to cut it down to about 4 inches. And I need 2 pieces there. So just like you do with any other pipe cleaner, gather it in the center, put that pipe cleaner around it, and it's so tiny. Look at that cute little tail. And remember, when you're making wreaths, you can make these tails, or even if you're doing floral arrangements, make them any length you want or need to get the effect you want. And these, like I said, are there for coverage, and so I don't need a full tail sticking up and covering the words on my sign. So I'm making a little cute short one. Again, I'm folding it like a V so that everything is facing upwards, spreading it out a little bit so that all of the ribbon can be seen. And then I'm going to find a little spot right near the top where I'm putting my tinsel ties through the canvas, and my tails will be coming up to cover that blank bare space. So I'm going to do that twice, kind of to each side of the bow again, like between the bow and the flowers there. So while I'm doing that, again, if you're not a member of the family, don't forget to ring the bell. Click the button, ring the bell. Let me get it in order. Click the button first, then ring the bells so you'll be notified when all my videos are released. And if you have the opportunity, please share this with others. If they think this is something they would enjoy, something they could do or make rather quickly. Once I decided everything I was going to use, it's probably like a 30-minute wreath, if that much. So I'm going to finish getting this on here, and as always, I'll share some pictures with you. I think I'll actually take it outside because it's still daylight here recording this today, and see if I can get some pictures of it actually hanging somewhere near my garden. Or in my flower garden, something out here. I don't have everything together yet. I got some beautiful flowers planted yesterday. That's how I spent my Mother's Day. It was a delightful time of peace and quietness all by myself. So that's one of the things I got to enjoy yesterday. All right, so I'm going to finish pulling this together. And as always, I thank you for spending this time with me. And I'll be talking with you again real soon.